Hey, welcome back to GirlChatSports. This is episode 32. I'm your host, Melissa, and of course with me, my co-host is Stephanie. Welcome, Steph.
Hi there.
S-Wash in the house.
Yeah.
So you guys, just a quick heads up. We've got a guest today, Palmer Alexander from In the Zone Show. He'll be joining us later on, so please stay tuned and listen in. We are very excited about that, and we are very excited to bring you guys more guests. So hopefully, if not every week, every other week, we'll be able to bring a guest into our podcast.
Looking forward to it.
Yay. So how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good because the Cowboys won. And I ate well.
Yes. So I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. It has been a little bit. We took last week off for anybody out there that maybe realized we weren't podcasting last week. So we don't really have a whole lot to discuss over at week 11 because we don't really want to talk about too old of news. Obviously, the Cowboys beat the Ravens on week 11. The Seahawks beat the Eagles at home. There was a trick play that was pretty cool, though. Baldwin did throw a touchdown pass to Russell Wilson in the end zone. So that was pretty cool seeing Wilson catch a ball for a touchdown. That was my happy Seahawks highlights.
Right, because we don't really want to talk about this week.
We don't want to talk about week 12 this past week.
There was some good news in the Cowboys game, though, as far as breaking records. Ezekiel Elliott broke Tony Dorsett's record for the most rushing yards by a rookie in Cowboys history. He set it in 1977, and he had a record of 1,007 yards. So
Dorsett was actually there at the game, too. I saw them exchanging some handshakes and whatever else beforehand.
He definitely knows there's more to come. It was nice.
Yeah, and then tell me about this whole Josh Brown, Des Bryant thing. I know we're going to hopefully try and get Palmer's take on our Seahawks and Cowboys later, but I know we kind of discussed it a little bit. But
there was quite a bit of banter on the field between the two of them for sure, and then even after the game, in the post-game interview, they've had some words.
Well, we all know Josh Norman, who was on the Panthers, currently a cornerback for the Redskins. He had a lot of things to say last year as well when he was playing for the Panthers. He doesn't keep quiet too often, and in his interviews, it's almost like he's like a little baby. Like he's crying and he's kind of reporting. Like he's the person that's going to rat you out to your mom. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. But him and Des have been going hard at it on Thanksgiving's game. And
yeah, so I guess after the game, Bryant said that Washington needed to get their money back for him and also called him extremely soft. So apparently that got him a little riled up where Norman actually said that he could unload the clip in where he comes from. And then they decided to take it all back and pretty much said there's no beef.
I just don't know how hood Josh Norman. Well, anyways, but Des clearly won that battle on Thursday, and congrats to your Cowboys.
Yes.
Can we discuss Ezekiel's abs?
Yeah. So. I knew the memes were coming. But when you have abs like that, why not show them off?
For all the ladies or fellas that maybe are listening to our podcast to do what other women do or other men do and trying to listen to women that know something about sports or to learn a little bit about something. So Ezekiel Elliott was a running back for Ohio State. During the NFL draft, he came in a suit with a crop top dress shirt on, showing off his lovely abs. So off and on you'll see him just sporting, tight shirts or no shirt or half a shirt. But after the Thanksgiving game, he came out and literally it looked like he had just ripped his shirt in two just to expose his abs.
And I'm okay with that.
I am definitely okay with that too. But the memes were hilarious.
Yeah, I knew they were coming. I knew it.
If you're listening, go do the hashtag for Ezekiel abs or Ezekiel Elliott and look for those memes on Instagram. They are hilarious. So in other news, the Seahawks, I don't really want to touch on it too hard because, I'm still mad over it. I'm still angry. The Seahawks flew to Tampa Bay, which is hard. That's like from one corner of the United States to the other. And then you're traveling on a late day in the week. You're playing a game on Sunday. There's a time difference, there's jet lag, and then you lose. You lose to the Bucs. The Bucs had just come off a win from Kansas City. In Kansas City, they were doing pretty good. I didn't think they were going to be that great. I mean, most of the people that have been talking about these games coming up for the Seahawks, all of our opponents for the next 4 or 5 games, all are under 500, including the Bucs. But they beat us. And And really, there's not much that can be said. We were missing some key players on defense. Earl Thomas we were missing. Michael Bennett is still out. Some of our running backs are injured. We only had Thomas Rawls, who really only had like 38 yards. He wasn't even doing well. We missed CJ Price. We missed Pope. I heard today that they had a meeting with somebody, an old fullback from, I believe, I can't remember if it was the Raiders. So hopefully we'll have some moves made. Our offensive line looked crappy. I think there was a new record. It was the first time that we've ever had 3 offensive line rookies starting in franchise history. So since 1976, it was the first time we've had 3 rookie offensive linemen. And our offensive line looked like it was a JV team.
I mean, he got sacked 6 times.
Yeah, Russell Wilson got sacked 6 times, the poor guy. I mean...
The highlight was, though, for Russell Wilson, that he got a season-best 80 rushing yards.
He was the highest rusher on the team.
Yeah.
He was pressured 27 of 45 dropbacks. So every time he dropped back to throw a pass, out of the 45, 27 of those he had pressure, which is 60%. That's higher than anything. It's ridiculous. So the key here also, though, is that the 14 points came off really fast. Mike Evans, an outstanding wide receiver for the Bucs, caught those 2 passes in the first quarter. So for the last 3 quarters, Seattle's defense was really good. Like, we kept them to just 14. However, we didn't do anything ourselves. This was the 3rd game that we've not had a touchdown this season. And since from 2000 to 2015, that's only happened like 1 time. But now we've had 3 games this year.
Yeah, you got to get touchdowns to win a game.
Yeah, it's not so good. What's kind of interesting, though, is that the out of the 6 teams that are currently in the playoff spot for the NFC conference, they rank in the top 10 total defense this season. So there's only 3, and 3 of them are in the 20s. 6 of them have the worst defenses. So the Cowboys are the 21st, Lions are the 14th, Falcons are the 27th, Giants are the 15th, Redskins are the 25th. I mean, Seattle is in there, and they actually are the only one that doesn't have anything in the teens or 20s, where I think are 10th, which is crazy. So... but enough of the Seahawks. So we are looking forward to playing Cam Newton and the Panthers in Seattle this weekend, Sunday Night Football, I believe. And that should be interesting because this is a game that I did want to go to. I have some friends going to that game. Hopefully our offensive line can improve a little bit and our defense really shows up, and hopefully we get some of those injured people back. I would really, really appreciate that.
A lot of news with quarterbacks in the league, though.
Yeah, what's going on?
So Jay Cutler is dealing with tendonitis and a torn labrum, and it could potentially be the end of his season.
Or end of the career if they decide to go draft, or not draft, but trade for Tony Romo. Who else is injured out there? Jeez. Seems like a lot. Well, I know that Jared Goff had his first 2 starts since we've been gone, and did fairly okay. I think better than Case Keenum been doing. He had a couple touchdowns. He had his first NFL touchdown in his second start. He hit Tavon Austin, who was doing well against the Saints. So that was nice. That was good to see him back. There's a couple other people that are back that had the injury reserve, like Sammy Watkins. He was out for, I think, 8-9 weeks. One of the guys I originally had drafted in fantasy, really high up, and he's actually back now.
Derek Carr, man, this guy is the truth right now.
Ooh, that finger! Did you see his finger?
2 dislocations in his finger,
and he came back. And wins. Jeez, that's like those are the kind of the players you hope for as a coach, or the guys that'll do whatever they can just to get a win, which is awesome, just really awesome. Another outstanding performance, Tyreek Hill for the Chiefs. He was the first player since Gale Sayers in 1965. So both of us don't know who that is, really. I've heard the name before because he's a legend, but most of us haven't seen him play. Tyreek Hill was the first player to get a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a kick return touchdown all in one game since 1965. So that's what, like 51 years.
Man, Tom Brady hit a career victory number 200, tying Peyton Manning for the most all-time wins in their win over the Jets, which I thought they were going to lose.
Really, pretty Tom. Belichick, it always amazes me. These wins come out of left field sometimes. They were down a couple of times to who they play last week too, but yeah, they were down there too. And I don't know. In some fantasy cheers, I had Willie Snead, who's a wide receiver for the Saints. He actually threw a touchdown, a 50-yard touchdown against the Rams, and got me 6 fantasy points just off of that, which was more than Wilson had all game of 2 points. So thank you to Mr. Willie Snead.
In other NFL news, they suspended Bills' Chantrell Henderson, the offensive lineman, for violating the league's substance abuse policy.
For the second time, here's my thing. If you got it once, what made you think it would be okay to start it again?
So here's the scoop on this. I decided to see why, and apparently he just found out that he had Crohn's disease, I think mid-season last year.
Oh.
And apparently his reasoning for smoking weed, I guess is what he's getting busted for, was that it helps him to feel better. He literally had, I think, part of his intestine or something taken out, removed, and he had to have some kind of bag where he couldn't even use the bathroom. So he lost a lot of weight, he couldn't eat. And so apparently this is his reasoning.
So medical reasons. I mean, that is understandable in the world outside of Major League Football. I mean, you would think, it's first of all, we passed it out here in Las Vegas or in Nevada, so recreational marijuana will be legal here as of the 1st. It was passed in California. It was already passed in Washington and Colorado. So I understand that point of it, even for the medical part of it. But when your job tells you, like, here's the deal, I could smoke all day, every day here in Las Vegas. But when my job specifically tells me that I can't, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you would think his 4-game suspension would have told him not to.
Especially after you get it the first time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna push my luck, but when someone catches me or I get punished for it, I'm not gonna do it a second time.
I'm quite sure that they get tested quite a bit. So 10-game suspension.
I'm sure some of the ball boys or the Gatorade kids help him out a little bit here and there, don't you think? Piss for him. And so in a little bit of college football, in week 11 we missed a couple games, which are really unimportant now because we're basically coming upon championship division games. We've got the Pac-12 championship coming up, the Big Ten championship coming up, the ACC championship, the SEC, the ESPN. No, I'm just kidding. We've got a lot of championship games coming up. But this past weekend, we saw a big game, which was between Michigan and Ohio State. They obviously, if you guys are keeping up, were ranked 2 and 3 in the college football rankings. So one of them had to lose, which thank God for us Husky fans, that did happen.
Man, it was such a good game. And honestly, what was it, double overtime?
Double overtime.
I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people say that really that game was a tie, and it was a blown call that allowed Ohio to win. So it definitely hurt, but I definitely think that they're both very equally matched teams.
They're both great teams, and unfortunately, one of them did lose. I think there definitely was a bad call there. I know Coach Harborough lost it a few times in that game, but what can you do? He also got fined $10,000 for being critical about the officiating in their loss to Ohio State, so that was interesting. One other thing that I found, so the Huskies also had the Apple Cup, so we played Washington State. That was a pretty interesting game in Pullman. Washington leads, I guess, the inter-state rivalry there, with I think 72 wins versus I think like 38 for Washington State. We won, and it was a great game. I love it, and the Huskies are 4th in the college football rankings, which is excellent. Jake Browning was named the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year this week, which hasn't happened since I was in school, and our guy Marcus Tuiasosopo had it in 2000, which is awesome.
So Michigan dropped down to 5.
Michigan's 5, Wisconsin 6. We've got Alabama still at 1, Ohio State at 2, Clemson at 3.
Man, end of the season, a lot of coaches are getting fired.
Yeah.
So Oregon, I think yesterday, fired their coach, Mark Helfrich, after 4 seasons. They have not fired a coach in 40 years.
Wow. Well, you know what's crazy is that they won the national championship just 2 years ago, and since that time, they were 13-12. So they've been like at 50%, which is terrible.
Yeah, he's 37 and 16 as head coach.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
crazy.
yep. In fact, the Longhorns fired their coach as well. And they did a bidding war between LSU to try to get Tom Herman. Apparently they won, and Tom Herman came in and decided they didn't want any of the other coaches for the Longhorns, so everybody else lost their job in addition to Charlie Strong.
Well, and I know Oregon actually is starting to have conversations with the Ohio State's defensive coordinator, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes. So for this weekend coming up, like I said, we've got the SEC championship between Alabama and Florida. I would love if Florida just upset them. Not like it's going to happen, but I would love that. I would also love if Virginia Tech beat Clemson. The thing is that at fourth, if we stay at fourth throughout the college football rankings, we'll be playing Alabama. Or basically, if we win our second round and they do too, we'll be playing Alabama in a championship game, which should be interesting. And then we also got Wisconsin and Penn State in the Big Ten championship. Another interesting thing, because the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State's not in it because apparently since they lost their one loss is to them, they're not in it, which is, I still don't get it. I've read about it, and college football wasn't always my forte, so I've been learning really fast this year. It's just so interesting enough. That's how that goes. Ha 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 ha.
Well, we should take a commercial break, but
What? Commercial
afterwards we are going to have a special guest.
Yay, Palmer's in the house. So we'll be right back right after these messages.
This is Melantha Witherspoon with Take a Trip Travel, and we love to plan family vacations, honeymoons, girlfriend getaways, with a great deal of experience with group travel and destination weddings. We can be reached at 314-369-7025 or taketriptravel@gmail.com. That is taketriptravel@gmail.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. We are so excited because finally the first guest of our new show has arrived. We've got Palmer Alexander from In the Zone. What's up, Palmer?
Hey, Melissa. What's going on, Steph?
Welcome.
We are really excited that you get to be here for our first guest. Well, first of all, let's start with your nickname, because when I first met you, I was like the legend KIL, one L in kill, but kill still kills. Ooh. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, man. Oh, I like that. I like that. Well, many moons ago, when I was a little bitty Thundercat, my relative nicknamed me Killer, and because I was told I was a badass kid and I was gonna kill somebody, so it helped me fit in on the north side where I grew up at, and then. As I grew older, I called myself becoming quote-unquote sophisticated. I drank half a cup of Perrier water on the TWA flight. I thought I was James Bond. And so now I call myself Kill and drinking with one pinky in the air.
Well, we've got Palmer here with us from In the Zone show out of St. Louis. Can you tell us a little bit about your guys' show out there? Obviously, we've been working with you for a little while now. We love your show. I know I've been on it. I know Steph's going to get on it soon, too. But give us a little breakdown of your guys' show out there.
Yeah, In the Zone is a sports, variety, entertainment. You're starting to add a little bit of politics to the mix, and it just basically just telling it how it is, right down the middle. In the Zone is guest driven, and what really got us that jump, it wasn't so much St. Louis because we didn't really have the that support. The support really came from outside of St. Louis. With the people in LA checking in because of the Ram situation, and then I did the thing in Seattle with Fan Face-Off show with Gary B. Jones.
Right.
You know, shouts out to him up in Seattle. That's your hometown.
What's up, Garrett?
You
Yes.
know. Yeah, you know, and then I got introduced to Becker, you know, with the plug, the WGMU in Washington, D.C. And then we was able to branch off and get that going. And then when I caught the GirlChatSports, when I caught you guys' show, I was just mesmerized about how it looked, the production and everything, and then just the way that you guys did sports. And that's why I said, man, I want to work with you guys, you know, and get you rolling in. And then, you know, then branching out to the New England territory with Silver Spoons and AWAS, you know what I'm saying, the Deuces Wild podcast. So collectively, man, it's been a dream come true. You know, the Rams leaving St. Louis has been one of the greatest blessings that I could have ever had.
So that's the In the Zone Network. There's a bunch of stuff going on there. Well, let's get into the Rams then. So obviously this year was the first year of the LA Rams going back to Los Angeles. Give us your take on the squad this year.
Oh, well, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it was the same when it left St. Louis, and it's the same in Los Angeles. And I don't know what people in Los Angeles was thinking just because the Rams made the trek to Los Angeles that things would change. No, when you have bum disease and that bum disease exists in your organization, you just don't shake it off by going from another city. You know, it doesn't work that way.
What?
You know, that's just the Rams are just a bad organization.
Yeah. Now you say that because you've actually, you know, you've been around the organization a while. I know you and also your Arlington as well have been kind of, you know, in and out. So the stadium, you guys have been to like the game that you guys went to with all the legends and stuff.
Yeah, it was it was the Legends of the Dome.
Right. So what's your guys' take on this whole Eric Dickerson and Jeff Fisher? Is it Jeff Fisher? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I mean, I'm enjoying every moment of it because it just exposes Jeff Fisher for the pompous ass that he is. You know, he think he's the smartest guy in the room. He always likes to win the press conference. Even last year at the press conference, you know, we're thinking Nick Foles is coming out, and here comes Jeff Fisher. You wanna see Nick? and then out come Nick Fairley instead of Nick Foles. Okay, real cute. You win the press conference, but you never win any games on the field.
Right. So the whole Jared Goff situation, do you have an opinion on, you know, should he have been started this late in the season? Should he have been started at all? Should he have been the initial starter for the team? I mean, you know, you're banking on your first round draft, on the number one draft pick in the league, and you're sitting him on a bench for what, 11 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, because of this romance that he has with Case Keenum, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what possessed Jeff Fisher to hang on to Case Keenum ever so tightly, because his arm doesn't even match up to Jared Goff. And you know, watching a few of those throws in that game against the Saints, and you can see the kid. He has a great arm. Mm-hmm. And he just need more, you know, help around him. But again, it goes back to Jeff Fisher being stubborn. When you can see that they've just been poor evaluators of talent. Look at Greg Robinson. He's led the NFL in penalties.
Wow.
And then he thinks because he benched for one game that he's going to get over his penalty disease. It doesn't work that way. When you have bum disease, Melissa Farris, it is real.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Todd Gurley has bummed my fantasy league out. So, yeah, gosh, dang it. Why? I thought, man, for sure Todd Gurley is going to pull through for me this year. And, yeah, I think has had, like, one good game. So, I don't know.
Well, you see, and that's the other thing with the Rams. They just never knew how to use Todd Gurley. If you're getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage, you're unable to run the ball, and as much as they throw the ball short, they never throw him the ball. You don't see them running screens or anything like that. You know why? Because they have an offensive line that's not even athletic. I mean,
Right.
look at Rob Halberstein, for example. It's like he has concrete in his cleats. The guy has no mobility whatsoever. And I also think it's blasphemy that Roger Stafford is still wearing Orlando Pace jersey. That's blasphemy. That's just outright disrespect. But that's what happened when you have what? Bum disease.
Bum disease. That's going to be our key word for today. Hashtag bum disease. Write that one down, Steph, so we can use that in our tagging later. You guys are joining us right now. We are with Palmer Alexander from In the Zone Network. We are chopping it up a little bit about the St. Louis, a.k.a. LA Rams now. We also want to get your take, Palmer, on some good teams, perhaps like Steph's Cowboys or my Seahawks.
Let's hear what you got for my Cowboys.
Oh boy, you know something, and I tell you what, because of what Jerry Jones did, the way that he really helped facilitate, St. Louis getting jobs out of football. He's probably public enemy 1A next to staying crime, and I've always grown up disliking the Cowboys, but you got to give the devil his due. I mean. They have the best offensive line in the NFL. Zeke Elliott, a St. Louis native, is just playing out of his mind. And Dak Prescott, and I have to give a lot of people credit. They saw something in him a long time ago. When I watched him at Texas A&M, I just wasn't really that, enamored, with him. I saw the size, I saw the skill set, but he's definitely brought his game to the next level. And I mean, look at the job that Des Bryant has been doing too. I mean, he put on a clinic against Josh Norman in the most recent game against the Redskins. So they got it going on all. And listen, Rob Marinelli's doing a fantastic job too. I think calling plays, he's really locked in. And this is the best Dallas has looked in almost 25 years. And I wasn't taking them serious, but right now I take them very serious.
Let's not forget about Dan Bailey either. He's doing his thing. All-time leader in field goals.
Hey, somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah. You know what? The last Dallas Cowboys field goal I gave. See, I'm about to date myself. I'm about to say Raphael Septien, but I think that's a little before her time too.
Oh gosh,
I don't know who that is.
You threw us all back for a second there. Jeez, yeah.
That's the last. That's how much I detest Dallas. And I even hated their kickers.
I hear you. I listen. I, for one, completely understand the hatred for Dallas. And however, I feel the same way with as you, is giving the credit where credit is due. Those guys, the young guys, are really pulling through. And then this whole Dez and Josh Norman thing from this last week one was pretty crazy too.
Dez said that they should get their money back for Norman.
They are talking mess. I love it though. I love it in them. What about the Seahawks, Palmer? What about the Seahawks?
On to the Seahawks, and they are for real. It is sometimes when you think that the Seahawks may be having that window closed on them and thinking that it's over. No. Not quite.
Russell just needs a minute, maybe a minute and a half. That's all he really needs. Unfortunately, against Tampa Bay, we really kind of put ourselves in a hole. And unfortunately, having so many injuries and, cross-country trips isn't always necessarily the best thing for a game either. But, hey, what do I know?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? This is that time of the year that when they really start to peak and playing the best. They're going to win the NFC West. And I really think that they're on the collision course with Dallas in the conference final. I got those two in the conference finals.
So are you going to meet us in Dallas
right
if that's
now.
The case? Or are we all meeting up in Dallas?
It's going to be a road game in Dallas for the Seahawks.
We'll chat after we win the Super Bowl.
Oh, ouch. Okay, real quick, Palmer, before we let you go, we got a couple more things. One, what about this? Let's talk about the NFL and what they're doing now as far as analyzing Thursday Night Football. What's your take on Thursday Night Football, and how do you feel about that?
I think Thursday Night Football is too much. I think especially when you get this late in the season and you got teams that are contending for playoff positions. You don't want to put those key guys in situations where they're trying to come back. You know what I'm saying? And when they got these nagging injuries, you want your best guys available. I think for this playoff stretch, I think they should just do away with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just that the greed of the NFL. It just
It never stops.
It just amazes me. It just never ever stops. I mean, they make sure they stretch the draft until almost 30 days and 30 nights. You know what I'm saying? I mean, golly. I mean, they've taken the whole fun away out of the draft. So, just another microcosm of the NFL. Lust for money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's money is a PED for them.
I don't think they're making too much money really this season either. But ratings are down and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
Let me just finish this. I mean, I think the ratings being down, maybe some, but I mean, the advertisers, they already committed the money. So, I don't think the only people that's going to be hurting is the advertisers because they already paid the money to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should get rid of Thursdays altogether. I kind of liked it when it was.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I like Thanksgiving. That's it. I think that should be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, real quick, and so before we let you go, Palmer, from In the Zone Network, branding out of St. Louis, Missouri, both of us, for our guests, would like to ask one question of all our guests each. I don't know, Steph, if you want to go first.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. My question is, who is your favorite athlete of all time?
My favorite athlete of all time is probably Isaac Bruce, without a doubt. Just a classy individual, and the way he plays football, I've never seen a guy run routes like him. Just one of the best route runners I've ever seen. And I put him in front of Jerry Rice.
Wow.
That's how good a route runner he is.
Okay.
If you watch this guy, there wasn't a guy that couldn't cover him. He was just that good. You take away those 2 seasons that he had the hamstring injuries, he would have easily had, 115 touchdowns. But I think he's like 5th or 6th, 14,000 yards, so he'll be in the Hall of Fame sooner or later.
Who do you like currently? Who's really impressing you right now in sports?
I think the number one guy that's first. You got me on that because I'm kind of. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not just nobody in particular.
No one sticks out to you right now. You're just waiting to get a football team back in St. Louis.
There is, but in sports-wise, there is one guy. Put your fingers in your ears, Melissa.
Oh, shit.
Russell Westbrook.
You just like his style. Stop playing.
I enjoy him. There's something about him. There's an element of crazy about him. Like he's nuts on the court. But I love that energy. I just wonder, can he sustain that for an entire season? That's what's just making it so interesting. So it's definitely Westbrook.
Okay, well, my question's pretty plain and simple. I just like to know, what is your go-to candy? I am a personal chocolate lover myself. I just didn't know if there's a go-to candy. If you had to run into 7-Eleven right now and pick up the one thing you could eat, what would it be?
Damn. It'd probably be a KitKat.
KitKat? The dark or the regular? They got that special edition.
Dark?
They got that special edition dark. And for Halloween, because this is how much I love candy, for Halloween they have orange and white ones too. The orange and white chocolate. But that's beside the point.
See, I need to get out to Las Vegas, and they don't got that in St. Louis.
So, are you coming out here? I mean, we've got the NFL, or we've got the NHL coming out here. We named the team. It's going to be the what was it again?
Vegas Golden Knights.
The Magnetos.
Yeah, the Golden Knights. We got NFL possibly still on the way. UNLV's been doing a couple good things out here. I mean, we're just waiting for you.
Yeah. I'm due to make that trip to the 702, and I'm looking so forward to looking out of the right side of my plane window and seeing Carrot Top on one of them big ass billboards. Yay!
Well, Palmer, please let our listeners know where they can find you, where they can find In the Zone. Give us some tags.
Okay. You can find me at the legend KIL when I only kill, but kill still kill. At In the Zone Show, NTHEZONESHOW. In the Zone St. Louis, In the Zone Network. Shouts out Melissa. Shouts out to S Wash. I like S Wash.
Yeah, you got it. It's not as cool as Killer.
Well, we appreciate you. We can't wait to talk more smack to you guys and hopefully join the show one day soon again with you over at In the Zone.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. So we're gonna get both you guys on. We have a crossover, and then get you guys. Well, January, we're filling January up, so we got to get both you guys on in January. So it's as I like to say, it's a piece of cake.
Alrighty, sounds good. We really appreciate Palmer for joining us. But now back to a little bit of news before we finish off the episode today. We'll go back to the NBA. I know, Steph, you've been watching a lot more games than me. So what's going on in the NBA right now?
Man, Clippers are on a 3-game losing streak, I'm happy to say.
I did see the thing about Doc Rivers, their coach, basically getting ejected. He was held back by almost the whole team, it sounds like.
He was mad after the first technical foul and took it even further and had to be restrained by Sam Cassell and DeAndre Jordan. So, yeah, he didn't even stay to finish out the game, and they ended up losing.
Wow. What about your Lakers? Are your Lakers doing okay?
Well, we won one against the Hawks on Sunday.
Okay.
And then, of course, we had to face Anthony Davis and the Pelicans last night. And this guy is just killing it right now. He's the NBA leader in scoring and blocks. So he showed no mercy to my poor Lakers.
Oh, geez. Well, another news. I know that the Philadelphia, they actually have 4 wins, which I think is almost more than what they had this time of year last year, because they only had like 8 or 9 total by the end of the season. It sounded like
it's not going so well.
But my Bulls are right behind Cleveland, so I'm pretty happy with that.
The Grizzlies are 11-7. It's really surprising because they've got a lot of key players out. Last night they found out that Mike Conley will be out for 6 to 8 weeks. He has a fractured vertebrae during a collision in the game. They're actually out. Chandler Parsons with a knee injury. Zach Randolph's mother passed away. Sorry to hear that.
Wow.
Brandon Wright's ankle and James Ennis' legs. So I'm really surprised that they're 11-7 with some of their key players out right now.
Go Grizzlies, right? One thing I thought was interesting was that I know you mentioned that the Pistons will be leaving the Palace to Auburn Hills, which is crazy because I'm a huge 90s basketball fan. So the Bulls, the bad boy era of the Pistons, they're actually leaving the Auburn Hills, so they're going to relocate.
To Detroit, yeah. They're building a new stadium, and they'll be sharing it with the Red Wings once it's built.
That's crazy. So it'll be kind of like how the Bulls do. The Bulls share with the Blackhawks, so that'll be interesting. So kind of sad that Auburn Hills is leaving. There was a lot of great games, a lot of great Piston teams that played in there. But hey, what can you do? Times change, and we need bigger and better arenas.
Sure. Let's talk about the Lady Rebels.
Man, last year we interviewed Dakota and Dylan Gonzalez. We love those girls. They're not only tall, beautiful, talented basketball, but they're talented in music and in in modeling. I mean, they've got singing. They've got one of them's doing not characters, but the anime. So the Lady Rebels basketball team hosted the Lady Rebel Roundup tournament, which was here, and they won their own tournament, which is the first time that's happened since 2005, and they beat Ole Miss to give them their very first loss for the season. So yay, go Lady Rebs! We really, really, really are behind you guys, and we hope you have a fantastic season. Real quick on our ahs and ohs, one ah moment, which I thought was, I didn't learn until after the fact, but Alterraun Verner, who was a Bucks cornerback, he was playing on Sunday against the Seahawks. Despite having just lost his father on Friday, I saw him, catch the interception and kind of fall down to the ground. He was on the ground for a while, and you could visibly see him crying. And he was crying on the sideline, and I was kind of like, what is going on with this guy? I didn't know the story until I looked it up while I was watching the game. He lost his father on Friday. It was kind of out the blue. His father actually flew in just for Thanksgiving and passes away from a heart attack.
Man, it's too sad.
Yeah, so we really, our shouts out to Alterraun Verner and his family, as well as a big condolences and prayers for I can't even probably pronounce it right, but the Chapecoense, or the soccer team from the southern Brazil, who had that big accident when their plane went down.
And 71 people lost their lives.
I can't even imagine. And what's sad is when you watch, they had a video they posted of the guys celebrating their win that basically brought them into this championship game they were heading to. And these guys were all in the locker room, jumping up and down, videotaping, having a great old time. And you just never know when you're, when it's your time.
Yeah.
So our prayers and sympathy for the family and friends of those guys as well. But let's brighten up the mood a little bit. Maybe we could bring you some arms.
Of the NFL.
Arms of the NFL, yes. So this week's Arms of the NFL, number 22, Mr. Derrick Henry. He's a running back for the Titans. He actually played for Alabama as well. This boy got some muscle, and he has been showing it these last half of the season so far for the Titans. So we wish him all the best of luck, and we continue to look at his great arms. Also, Mr. Virgil Green, tight end for the Broncos, number 85. He's like 6'5" and has arms of, they're godly. Thank you. A little throwback. Thursday, Mr. Larry Johnson, not to be confused with Grandmama Larry Johnson, who played for the Charlotte Hornets in basketball, but this Larry Johnson was the running back for the Chiefs, number 27. He also played for the Redskins and Dolphins. So please go Google, check those names and numbers out if you don't know who they are, and check out their arms, ladies. You won't be upset with me for that. Well, I think that's our show for today, Steph.
Thanks for joining us.
We really appreciate it. Let the viewers, or the listeners, know where to find you.
You can find me on all social media under S_wash.
And you can find me at Seattle at Seattle the number 4_life on all social media. You can also find us at GirlChatSports at GirlChatSports on all social media. Please, if you have anything that you'd like to comment, discuss, or have a topic you want to share, please send it to us on our email, Melissa or Stephanie at GirlChatSports. We really love to hear from you guys, and we can't wait to bring you another guest hopefully next week. Have a good week, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Go Huskies.